Let's be honest, cultural change sounds good until somebody says, "We've done this before." Nobody's going to go for that. Resistance is normal, but if you ignore it, your culture shift will stall fast. I'm Sharon, the Culture Catalyst, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how you can turn resistance into real buy-in for the important things in your business, like shifting culture. This video is about step 3 in my culture shift blueprint, overcoming resistance and gaining buy-in. This phase is all about identifying that pushback and getting the right people on board early. First, I just want to reframe the problem. Resistance isn't failure, it's feedback. It's not a problem, it's just data. It shows you where trust is low, where clarity is missing, or where any past changes have left people feeling a little bit bruised. The goal here isn't to bulldoze your way through, it's to understand, to connect, and respond in a way that builds momentum. Here's a tool that you can use to start identifying any resistance to culture shift within your business. I call it the resistance radar. There are 4 key groups. Number 1, your champions, they're already on board. Number 2, the fence sitters, they're just sat, watching and waiting. Number 3, your skeptics, they're vocal and they're hesitant. And finally, your blockers. These are the people who are actively resisting. So your job isn't to win over everybody, it's to activate the champions and give those fence sitters a real reason to jump off the fence and step forward. I want you to ignore the blockers for now. Momentum will win hearts faster than logic will. Second exercise I want you to do is a what's in it for me audit. Don't push values. Speak to what your people really care about. Employees often want recognition, clarity, and growth. Managers usually want less chaos and more confidence. And leaders want results, retention, and reputation. So I want you, in your messaging about culture, to make sure you're hitting all of those motivators for each of your different audiences. It's not about your motivators, it's about their motivators. Now, the SCARF model is a model that I really rate to help you really understand the needs of your team, make sure that they're on board with the change. Let's talk neuroscience with the SCARF model. The SCARF model talks about 5 things that the brain craves at work. SCARF stands for status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. If your culture shift is threatening any of these, then you might run into some problems and you'll definitely run into some resistance. So you need to ask yourself and ask your team, are we protecting people's sense of status? Are we giving enough certainty? Are we offering choice? Are people feeling connected to what it is that we're trying to do? Does this feel fair? And when you look at this, be honest about how it stacks up. You may very well need to tweak your approach according to one of those 5 needs, or a combination of some. This means that you're not just changing behaviours, you're navigating your team's brain and the things that they scan for on a daily basis to make them feel engaged at work. Next, let's think about the message ladder. Once you've got all of that in sight, it's time to communicate, and you need to communicate really clearly. Here's a really useful framework that I use when I'm talking about shifting cultures to remind me to attend to all of the things that are important to my audiences. Rung 1 on the ladder is acknowledge the reality, speak the truth. Rung 2, explain why. People really want to understand the rationale behind this decision. Rung number 3 on the ladder, show why it matters. Not only do people want to understand the why, they need to see that in the context of this particular business and the challenges that you are going through. Why this and why now? 4th on the ladder is make an ask. You need to request their support. 5 on the ladder is reinforce everything and repeat if necessary. Trust builds from truth, not hype. So to really gain buy-in, you have to use social proof. You have to bake things into the rituals that happen on a daily basis within your business. People just don't want to be told, they want to be shown that things are working. So remember those champions? You need to galvanize them to really take action and then play it back to the rest of the business. Pilot things and celebrate the small wins. Spotlight stories and experiences be they good or bad, because everything is an opportunity to learn. Build in those new rituals and those new routines that are going to support the direction you're going in. This is how buy-in spreads peer to peer, not from the top down. I want to be specific about this. It's not a launch and then vanish as a leader. So you don't overpromise and kind of under-communicate. That's the worst thing you can do. People will just be like, well, what's happening? When's it happening? And then the person who's in charge of it disappeared. It's not about abdicating responsibility completely to your champions. And never ever confuse silence with agreement. In this case, silence is not golden. Silence can often mean fear that people aren't speaking up about, or fatigue, they're just bored of the change. And guess what? Both those things kill momentum. Here's a quick recap of the steps you need to do next. Map your resistance radar, run your What's in it for me audit, think about the SCARF model and how it applies to teams within your business. Put a plan together to climb that message ladder and use social proof and storytelling to really gain traction. Remember, resistance isn't your enemy, it's your roadmap. If you want to go deeper on this, then I've recorded a 1-hour webinar. You can click the link in the description and get a free replay. It's packed with tools and techniques and real life examples. So let's turn that resistance into readiness and get your people moving in the same direction. Remember to hit like and subscribe and share this video with anybody you think would find it useful. Next time, we're going to dive deep into embedding the things that make your change stick. See you next time.